Hi everybody, it's Kunal speaking. I thought I'll just spend 10 minutes, or not even 10, 3 to 5 minutes on talking about something within the project environment, the project management environment, which I find quite a lot, is the different worlds of operations and projects. Now I know operations projects is one of the, almost want to say, fundamental starting blocks when you talk about projects and project management in the corporate environment. But I think with the work that I've done and the involvement that I had with organizations and companies is that I've seen that distinction between operations and projects is not big enough. A lot of clients come to me and they say, listen man, we're really having a hard time getting our projects out, getting the mind of our project managers ready and getting them to really take on projects with a different positive point of view and taking on their projects. And then after digging in a bit, I really actually realized that these guys are not even in the project environment. So yes, let's quickly talk about the corporate environment and the role of projects. So if you take a scale and you put on the one side of the scale, you say very corporate, not very corporate, very operational environment. And if I say operational, I'm talking about manufacturing, building and sending out on an ongoing, repetitive way. I just heard a story this weekend where someone said that the melters on these big glass companies, which that manufacture glass, it is so expensive for them to switch on and off those melters that throughout the lockdown they didn't switch it off. It was cheaper for them to let it run ongoing without even using the capacity, then switching it off and switching it on again after when the lockdown and the economic activities started again. And that's an operational world. It's something that's always the same, that just keeps on going. So that's the far extreme. Now we're talking about the other extreme, which is the extreme of projects. And in that sense, I almost want to I want you to see something like let's take something like a contracting company, a company that goes out, they build a road or a bridge or a piece of building, and they come back, they dismantle their team and they take on another one. They close it off every time. Now obviously we know that one is operations, that one is projects, but there is actually somewhere between the two, and most organizations actually have that. So if you take something like a very clear cut, let's call it clear cut operational environment, like some food retail store, even they have something which they will from time to time, projects that they need to run, they need to get out there, they need to sort of run to make the business make sense. Now another talk about we can have another talk about the link between strategy and why you take on projects. Now this is that. We're not talking about that. We are talking about, do you understand if you are busy with a project or if you are busy with operations? So if you don't sell if your organization is not selling the core output of projects, then you are more an operational environment, but it doesn't mean you don't have projects. So I'm a company, I build small electronics and I sell that, very operational, but from time to time I buy and build a new depot or a factory or something like that. Then we need to say, okay, but this I can isolate as a project. So the first thing that you need to always ask yourself when you are dealing with projects or not is, do you close it off? Because if you don't close it off, if it's not finished, one of the first definitions we talk about in terms of projects and project management is you've got a starting point and you've got an end point. And linked to that is a goal. You need to have a goal when you're dealing with a project, an end goal. Now remember, operational goals are, yes, we want to be better, we want to do things with less defects, quality must improve, I want to have a better throughput through my factory, those kinds of things. But it's not a single goal that you reach, switch it off, say, I've done it, I've made it, what is the next thing? And that is actually what we talk about when we talk about projects. So if you go to someone and they're busy working, project manager, always busy working, scheduling, getting things ready, buying, selling, going to supply chain, and you say, listen, what is the goal of this? Let's call it just a thing that you are doing. And he can't say it's something that I can reach and I can finish off. Then it's not a project. Then you need to approach this with more an operational point of view, which is interesting, which has got its own, let's call it challenges and things that you need to think about. But if you say, listen, there is a deadline, there's a time in which I need to be finished, there's a goal that I need to reach, and this is the, let's call it the stuff, the scope that I need to finish this all off with. Then you're dealing with a project, and then you need to take a project approach, a project management approach. And that approach is something that we can talk about later on. It's just clear to understand that there is a difference between the two, and there is a difference about the approach that you take on. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to tell you or talk about, the difference between operations and projects, the role it plays, and also then that you need to know that you are a different person when you're a project manager than when you're an operations manager for that case. There are some stuff that you need to think about in both, and we talk about that a lot in the training and stuff that we do, but it's two different kinds of people that we are dealing with. Cool, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again.